Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you are joining us from today. Hope everybody's having a fantastic Tuesday and week so far. Just to make sure that everybody can see and hear us, find the chat and let us know where you are joining us from today. I already see that Silvio is saying hello, as well as Aresteros Playas, but let me just wait a couple more seconds to make sure that everybody is here. While you guys are doing that, let me just tell you that we have a really awesome webinar planned for you guys today, and we'll be diving into that in just a couple of moments. But if this is the first time you are joining one of our events, I want to welcome you. We hold our webinars, roundtables, workshops, and onboarding days to share some insightful and actionable information with the SEO community, help you make the most of our tools, and hopefully give you some takeaways that will help you increase the traffic to your website. Today, we're going to be talking about AI meets SEO, a smarter way to create quality content with SEO ranking. And I will be your host for today. My name is Andrew Zarudi, and I'm part of the marketing team over at SEO Ranking. We can see in the chat that we are, everybody can see and hear us. We are perfectly going. And to help us out in today's topic, we invited for, I think it's like a third time return guest expert, Matt Bailey, the founder of SiteLogic. Welcome, Matt. Happy to have you with us.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. So am I, and hope everybody here as well. All right, so let me just tell you a couple of words that the presentation will last for 35 minutes. I'll get to the SEO ranking, but I just want to get all the organizational stuff out of the way. So we'll have, for an hour, the webinar, we'll have Matt's presentation for about 35 minutes. We will have a Q&A session. You're welcome to ask your questions as we're going through the webinar, and I will try to ask them in the moment. If not, we will ask them during the Q&A. And let me just tell you a couple of words about SEO Ranking, who is organizing this, putting this together. So we are an SEO platform designed for marketing teams, agencies, SEOs that work in-house, and we have a lot of different tools. Advanced, we try to enrich our data as much as possible, and you can see on the screen we have a lot of different recognition from users and independent experts, and we're just trying to keep that mark going. Let me elaborate more on a couple of our tools and on the platform. So we provide the complete SEO package in terms of tools. So from keyword research to backlink analysis to reporting to tracking, you name it, we have it. If not, this is what SEO Ranking is about. We build our platform because you help us and guide us, users. We always listen to your feedback and build a platform that will be perfect for you guys. And also, besides the tools, we also enrich our data. We always update our algorithms. By the way, we had a major data quality update recently that impacted the quality of our backlinks. So be sure to check that out. We also have a lot of different collaborative features for teams, working with clients, and also just managing a lot of big projects. So that is basically what I wanted to say about SEO Ranking. And thanks to all of the work that we've put into the tool, thanks to all the feedback that we've been getting, we are now trusted by more than 40,000 companies, and hoping that number will only grow. And to help us get those numbers up, we are holding these events. And this specific event is going to be about showing how you can create better quality content using SEO Ranking's different AI-powered tools and data available within it. All right, so I think I've managed to talk about everything that I needed to at this point. I will be in the chat monitoring everything, so guys, don't hesitate. Ask Matt anything you want, and we'll try to have a good discussion. And yeah, I'll be in the chat, so Matt, take it away.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the invitation to present again. And I'm going to go ahead and fire up my slides here because I've had a chance to play around with, and I don't know if any of you have, with the AI tools for creating content in SEO Ranking. I've been excited to be able to play around with that, work through it, see what's happening, and also see what a time saver it can be. So I'm going to walk you through the process, and also from an agency and also from a marketing perspective, how we use these SEO tools and how we use the AI to help with content development. If you'd like to get in touch with us after the webinar, I'll have some more contact information there as well, and you can learn from that. But just as a little bit of a background, I've been in SEO and digital marketing since the late 90s, and building websites, learning SEO, developing content marketing since then. Now I coach people in learning content marketing, analytics, and SEO, and you can learn more about it at some of those links below. let's get into the cool stuff. I started out by getting into the content marketing tab of SE ranking. If you've got it, go there and start working through it. One of the things was a media finder or an idea finder. And I use that to find out what other things are available. You can use this with just a general term and see what else is out there in a broad sense, or you can use a very specific term. I use the term digital media literacy, and I can see different clusters, but I can also see different phrases and words that people are using. Now, if you're a more visual person, you might like this. You might like the mind map of showing all the different cluster ideas. Now, I find the idea finder works really, really well if you are looking for something like a broad term and you want to see what are some of the subtopics around it. It also worked really well for this, where it's a very niche topic, but you could also see the very specific areas where it branches out. So the idea finder is a great way just to start that project. Maybe you're sitting there wondering what to write for the next month or two. This will give you some great ideas. But then you can go into the content editor. And the content editor is where you start developing your copywriting project. I love this because even if you never use the AI, if you use the step-by-step instructions and hand it off to a copywriter, you're going to have better results. Because what this is going to do is help you organize and develop a clear thought process and a clear goal as to what you want this article or this content to reflect. So we're going to start out with some primary keywords, select the search engine, create an article name, and then any other additional settings such as URLs or anything like that that you want to put in from your site as well as from a competitor website. Now, as you can see, I'm putting in digital and media literacy. I'm naming the article, and then I start going through the article creation process. Now, one of the first things that it does is it will bring up the competitors for those terms. And I love this because what this is going to show are other high-ranking domains that are competitive for those keywords, but also you can select which ones you want to evaluate. At this stage, I'm going and I'm looking at each of these competitors. I want to see what type of content is on the site. A couple of these were educational sites where they were showing a curriculum. And so it wasn't too relevant to what we wanted to produce. And another was an actual study, but it was limited information. So from here, you can pick and choose which competitors you want to draw from in their content. And that is just a fantastic way of digging in and seeing, looking. This is such a critical part of content marketing, is when you evaluate competitors to see what is their strategy. Are they going for a certain type of content strategy? Are they doing webinars? Are they doing research papers with original research? Are they just writing articles? Go and look at your other competitors to see what type of strategy of content they're developing and how it's working for them. And you can get all of that reporting within the SE ranking. Then you build your content parameters. What's the word count? How many headings? How many paragraphs? How many images? Like I said, this is just a great brief to put together. And even if you're giving it to a human, it's going to provide very specific instructions. Then we're going to list all the keywords that we want to put into the article. And you can pick and choose, select, deselect which ones you want. You can see what the search volume is on some of these. And so you can go more long tail terms if you want, or you can stay within the primary short tail terms. If you're using long tail, you're going to hit the short tail as well. Then links. And this is fantastic because SE ranking will go out and find resources that you can link to in the article. And so from here, you can say, I want this link. I want this one. So you can see here that there is one which is a news literacy project with great resources. And so we added that in. An article on cognitive dissonance, which is fantastic for media literacy. And then common sense education, change in behavior. And so from here, you can look to see what are great resources that you can link out to that provide helpful educational links in your article. Then questions. And now these are pulled from the People Also Ask in the search results. They are questions from competitor websites. They are questions that come up in the keyword research. And so by pulling all of these sources together, you're getting a great view of questions people ask in this area. And so it's great because it may cover content that you didn't think of. So getting all of those different areas, different sources, it helps to bring down now, what am I going to address in this article and what am I not going to address? And these are also great ideas to put off for later. That I think would probably be my main suggestion here, especially in this question area, is if I'm not going to address it in this article, I want to do it in a future article because there's great ideas in the questions. And then content structure. You can start by adding your own headings. You can look to see the headings on the competitor websites. And then also you can generate with AI. So you've got three choices throughout as you do this in building it yourself, looking to see what competitors are doing and bringing those in, or using AI. And so I've used all three, and I can tell you my experiences with all three, but it has been really just a fun to do. Then you build out your content structure. So here you can see we're looking at competitors' headings. And so from here, you can start to organize your article based on the headings you want, the headings that you're pulling from competitors. You can add on the right side there which ones you want in your article, and you can add some of your own. And so from here, you're starting to build that structure of the article and how it's going to flow. Then the content structure, you can start, this is if you're doing it on your own, you can add, or this is the AI writer, where you can see the suggested headings on the right side there, and you can see they're all H1 tags. What are we going to name this? And then also you can put in keywords, the tone of voice that you want to write with. Then if this is going to a human writer or editor, you can put in metadata for additional instructions, for additional help and requirements as to what you want out of the article. So if you don't want to use all of AI, but you mainly want to use mostly human written content, this is the way to do it. You can come up with your structure, your outline of the article, and then provide instructions to the human writer. Here's where I want it to go. Here's the title requirements, descriptions. Here's everything that I want in the article. And then you end up with a great brief that you can put in front of a human writer. So we're now at the article area. We've gone through all the steps. And again, you have three ways to go about this. Option one is you can click the purple link there and get the one-click article. And I like to say that's about 98% AI, because you've filled in what type of topics you want to address. You've done the brief part, and now AI is going to take it and run. And so from there, you will get the AI-based article. Now, my experience with this is if I'm too broad in a search term, like a very popular, very broad. For example, I tried this with the word branding, and to write an article about branding. When I gave this to the AI, what I got was a very general article. And so think about that from that standpoint, that if you're using a very broad, short tail term, you're going to get a very generalized article. When I did something very specific, such as digital and media literacy, it was much more detailed. There's more nuance. And so I felt the quality of the article was even higher because it was focused around a very specific, tightly focused area of content. So that's just what I've seen from the AI and how it works through there. So you can just generate the article based on what you've created at that point. Option two is you use all the headlines and you can arrange them, fill them out. It's already got markup in it. This is what I say is if I'm going to create the structure and then hand it off to a writer. Now, this, I love this, and I wish I'd had this many, many years ago when I had my agency, because there's always that conflict in between SEOs and copywriters. You know, some of you may have dealt with this, that you're an SEO, you know what words need to be there, but there's also copywriters. And this is what they do for a living. And they may understand the company or the product because they may be internal. And so there's always been a little bit of frustration in between SEOs and copywriters. This would have alleviated so many of those problems when you could put together a clear structure. Here's the keywords we're going to use. Here's the word count. Here's how many headings. Here's how many paragraphs. And it just defines, and then you hand it off to the copywriter, and all they can do is just do their work. So you can go like 99% AI, or you can do about 90% human and work from there. I loved option three, which is the AI writer wizard. And from there, you define your terms, your headings, the outline, the talking points, which I thought were fantastic addition here, that you can write in the talking points that you want. You can remove the ones that you don't want. You can edit the terms that are there. So essentially what's happening is the AI is taking that outline to the next step. You've got your outline, but with the talking points, it is much more specific. And like I said, the more specific it is in subject matter, the better the content is going to be. And so this, I like to say, is about 60% AI, about 40% human, because you're guiding the process. And then ultimately you get your article. And this is what I got here. The key takeaways, I love it. The images are already there, just ready for you to populate. And everything that I wanted in that article is very clear. The markup is there, so you can take that immediately and go publish it once you've got those images in there. You've got a good content score. I love how it's measuring as you go throughout everything. And even as you're editing the article, the content score is going to keep updating. It's going to keep an idea or keep a count of how many keywords are in there. Just a fantastic way of working with the AI to get the content that you need. Now, a couple of principles here about working with AI as I'm wrapping up my portion here. Number one principle about working with AI, and I like to call this stay in your lane. These tools benefit subject matter experts. In a lot of interviews about AI, one of the things that I consistently say is AI is going to make experts better. And unfortunately, there's going to be a widening gap between new workers or new employees, because if you don't know the product, if you don't know the industry, if you don't know the subject matter, you can use AI, but you don't know if the AI is right. And only through experience and learning are you going to know if it's right. At an expert level, or really a knowledgeable level, using AI, you will know if the AI is right or not. So there's going to be a widening gap between those who are experts in an industry and those who are learning an industry, because you have to be able to identify when the AI is hallucinating and not making sense or doing something incorrectly. And so our policy here at SiteLogic, nothing goes out without a human review, because we want to be sure that AI is on track, everything is written well. So don't use AI to write about content you don't understand. Here's the second thing. You are liable if you live in a country with strong copyright laws, the US, the EU, those regions. If you use AI and it plagiarizes someone else's content, just because it came from AI does not protect you. You are still liable. You can still be sued. You can still be taken to court if you plagiarize someone else's copyrighted content. Now, one of the things SE ranking has in there, and you probably saw it, I'm going to back up a little bit. There is a plagiarism detector in there. Yep, there it is. There's a plagiarism checker up at the top that you can use to check and make sure it is not being lifted directly from someone else's content. So be aware that AI does plagiarize based on what it was taught, based on the learning model that it came from. So it's your responsibility to make sure that it isn't. The third thing, in the US, you cannot copyright AI generated anything, images, content, music. You cannot copyright AI generated content. Where things are going to get tricky is when you've used AI to build something with human intervention. That is actively going on in court cases right now, and there is legislation in both the EU and the US to generate this. Right now, the courts, both in the US and EU, are defaulting to what they call natural human. Real human. And so now the EU is also talking about an AI human combined category of copyright that doesn't hold a strong copyright, but basically just realize that anything you use AI to create, you cannot copyright it. So people can plagiarize what you do, because if it came from AI, it can be copied. It's not copyrighted. Someone else can use it as well. And even if you put your copyright at the bottom of the page, it does not matter. That's where you've got to get another level of copyright for your own content. So those are a few things to keep in mind in working with AI. And one of the rules that the EU and we are really, really close. I'm still working through a lot of the EU documentation on this, but they may require that if you use AI to generate content on your site, you may have to disclose that or clearly label that images, music, probably written content as well, was either solely done through AI or partially done through AI. So that's something to watch in the next few months as the EU works through their AI principles. So that's it for my section. I'm looking forward to the questions, which I think is always the best part. But if you would like to know more about SiteLogic training, we have learning reports about skill building and teaching teams. I also have a podcast called the Endless Coffee Cup Podcast, and our training. And we do live coached training. You can watch the videos on your time, but we do active hands-on learning where you get assignments, and then we review your assignments so that you can present better, increase your skills, increase your marketability in this industry. So if you want to know more, feel free to contact me at sitelogic.com or on LinkedIn as well. So thank you so much for inviting me to speak on this. I'm ready for questions.
Thanks a lot, Matt. I'm happy that you showed the platform with the screenshots, and it's not very different from the live platform in that regard. And that is the reason why we didn't do it live in terms of like opening up the platform, because there's just too much going on. And I think Matt did a great job in breaking down the capabilities of the tool and the options that you have in setting everything up. And we have a couple of questions. The one is about the tool itself. So let me take care of that one. Let me just bring it up on the screen. So is the content marketing tool usable in smaller languages like Polish, Czech, Slovak? Right now, it is only available in English. The single article and generation is also available in English. But of course, we know that this is not the only language out there. And once we tackle the English language, we'll start working on other ones, because it's not just a matter of setting a different language. There are all of these different nuances and like gendered languages, and so there are many different things that we can go into, and we are working in that development regarding developing that. And we also have a question from Josephine. This is more for Matt, I think. To what extent does Google care if my content is AI generated or not? Seems like everybody's sounding the alarm, saying that search engines will tank my site if it has AI generated data. You touched on that sort of at the very end. And
Yep.
maybe you could talk more about that.
So yeah, it's a bit of a complicated question. And by the way, the reason why I use slides instead of going through the tool live is there are, when you're going out and developing the headings, when it's scanning the competitor sites, that takes time. And so if we were doing it live, we'd be probably sitting here for about 4 minutes waiting for some results to happen. So that's why we go for the screenshots so we can keep things going. Okay, to what extent? So the reason why you're seeing a lot about this is at the beginning of AI, probably about a year ago, a number of people just started creating hundreds of articles on their sites that were AI generated, and we're immediately seeing rankings from it, even though Google said don't do it, or we're going to be on the watch for it. And it wasn't until this last update that those sites got penalized and they dropped their traffic. Now, there's a couple of factors here. Number one, as I like to say, they were doing it and they were poking Google in the eye. they were showing everyone, look, we made AI content and look at our ranking. So they were very boldly stating what they were doing and what happened. And so it could have been a manual action from Google, but Google's policy is that they don't want 100% AI content. They want to see more of a human effort to it. And regardless, whether or not they can detect it fully, that's always a big question. You never know with Google. But their policy is you can use AI, but is the article authoritative? Does it reflect expertise in the industry? Is it trustworthy? And a lot of that is going to depend on your domain and the history of your domain and your business over the years. And so if you have consistently published trustworthy and expert level content, and you continue to do so even with AI, you're going to be fine. However, if you just decide to give everything over to AI and keep pushing those articles, you may see your quality decline, and Google may take away from that.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. Let's see, we have another question. Yeah, how can I protect my own unique content from plagiarism? I think you touched on that. When is AI learning? When is the AI learning engine being fed by new content and information?
So right now, anything that's published online, you cannot prevent it from being used by any company, Google, any of them. I mean, Google's already indexed all of your content on your website, so chances are it was already used as part of their language model. Now, for creating content and to protect it, there's a couple of things here. Number one, you can, and depending upon your region, US, EU, or whatever the copyright laws, they're going to be very different around the world. There is a consistency among the EU and in US. In the US, what I have to do is I can say it's copyrighted. However, all that gives me the right to do is if I can prove that I was the first one to write it, I can tell someone else to remove it. If I get a registered copyright, then I can make someone remove it, but I can also take them to court for lost damages. That if I can prove that their plagiarism has taken money away from me, then I can sue for damages. Either one of those doesn't prevent plagiarism. And so anyone can take your content and go and put it on their website. And we've seen this happen in Google before, where sites that are plagiarizing are ranking well. And I'm hoping this content update took care of that. But that has always been a sticking point in the search engines, that a lot of low quality sites plagiarize content from high quality sites and use that to falsely increase their relevance. So we've got two different areas of plagiarism. One is, you can go the legal route and protect yourself from other humans or other people. The other one is the search engine route, and when they use your content for a language model, or when spammers copy your content, there's not a lot you can do about that.
Yeah, unfortunately, because we had another question very similar to that. So is there anything I can communicate to Google that I'm the original author? So
Yeah, and that's where putting dates on your content can help. There's no 100% foolproof solution. That, unfortunately, that's until there is some level of verification on content. It's we can take precautions, but it's not going to fully work.
Got it. Thank you, Matt. I'm gonna have a question from Homer. What can I do to make sure my AI generated content is SEO friendly?
Well, working through the tools of SE ranking, you can select what keywords you want. You can select the questions you want to answer. And those questions are coming from search engines. They're coming from searchers. They're coming from competitor websites. So just by selecting the keywords, the topics, the questions, the headlines, many of them will be generated with keywords and content that if we know people are looking for it, that's SEO friendly. That's really what we're looking for.
Yeah, thank you. And I just want to add that Matt specifically showed us a couple of slides where we can see the content in the middle, or sorry, so on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, there's a panel that sort of shows us all the different keywords, how many paragraphs there are, how many images there are, how many times you use the keyword that you've decided which is the target keyword, and it looks at the density, so it just keeps tabs on all these things. So it's not just generating content, but also making sure that you have all the data to feed to search engines. So it's not only loved by people, but also like, yeah, search engines, different ones. There's also another question about what AI model used for generating content, and I can address that one. I'm not sure what the specific model is because I was in talks with the development team regarding this tool, and I saw that they did a lot of their own fine-tunement because it's not just a simple generation. There are specific prompts that we enter to make sure that the articles are structured properly. There are no, I don't know, just like roundabout ways of explaining things. So we had worked on this specifically for a month, generating articles, giving it to the content team. We gave them feedback on what we think like it makes a good article, and that sort of fed the creation of the tool. But once you guys start exploring it, you'll be able to see that for every generated piece of content, you can sort of leave a form, feedback form. Was it good? Was it not? How much time you needed to work on optimizing your content after once it was generated. So we try to do our best to provide you with the tools, but also you have the opportunity to check in with us to let us know how the tool can be better for you. So it's not just an AI model typical one. It is custom to SE ranking, so that it's not just a typical generated content that you get online. All right, let's see what else we have. Yeah, another one about English. So yeah, that's the language that we're focusing on at the moment. But the next ones are going to be, I can tell you that it's going to be like Spanish, French, German, and then we're going to expand to more global, not global, but more specific languages depending on what you guys what you guys need. So if you need a language, reach out to us, let us know, and we'll just see who has more votes, and we'll just sort of give that priority. But at the end of the day, we are aiming to create a tool that will be universally, not just for English speaking countries, or not countries, but like people working with English speaking websites. Yeah, let's see. Let's create get another question for Matt. I'm just clicking on the next one. What do you think is the next step after the 5th March core update? How to get back to top 10?
That's a great question. Wow. Honestly, you're gonna have to go look and see who maybe replaced you and what they're doing from a content perspective. How are they building their content, both from at the content level? What is their strategy? But also at the structural level. How are they arranging the pages? How are they relating them together? How are they interlinking them? You're going to have to study what other people are doing to see. I will give my advice. I don't react to anything the search engines do. You just stay if you're writing good, solid content that answers people's questions, and you're seeing your conversion rates still stay pretty solid, don't worry about it, because the rankings are going to change They're going to change by person, location, whatever. So I don't stress about those types of things because, you could be in the top 10 for terms you're not aware of. It's going to fluctuate. Focus on answering the questions that your potential audience has.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. And I just wanted to add that we also have a podcast where we interview agency and like people that are CEOs or founders of agencies. And this is one of the things that they said, that they do not react to Google because they have their own system in place. And the only time when they did react was when they're just starting out, because you just feel like you're not aware of what's happening, and you just jump on every new thing, just trying to make things happen.
Yeah.
All right, we have another question, which I think is very interesting. In terms of
Ooh.
creating an article, would you create one extensive one or break it down into several articles?
All right, so this gets to what I was talking about with your structure. So if you're going to go after like the pillar page, and the pillar page is, if I'm writing about digital media literacy, I will write an article that's probably 8 to 10,000 words, everything about it. And then I'm going to branch off and I will create a shorter article about resources for digital media literacy, educational curriculum for digital media literacy, best practices. And so each of those will be smaller articles that support the pillar. So that's the pillar page concept. Now, it's not the only concept. There's hub and spoke. There's numerous types of methods to structure your articles. So the one extensive article, it's going to need other articles around it because you can't possibly handle everything. And if it's too big, you start to dilute your strength for those keyword concepts. And so I will typically, I do like the pillar page concept, but I don't do too much of it. Only when there is that amount of content and you want to be the educational source for it, that's when it makes the most sense.
Thank you. Marjorie's asking you, Matt, what do you think about SEO being a long-term commitment, that it takes time for Google to learn about your site?
SEO is a long-term commitment, but it is also the best investment you can make in a website. Now, I'll say that. On the other side, one of the things I do with new employees is I make them build a website, and it's theirs, and it has to be about something they love. And then they have to make money with it. So they could do it with YouTube ads, they can do it with AdSense, they can do it with affiliate links, whatever. But I want them to practice building something of their own that makes them money. One of my employees, she was into equestrian events, and she did a lot of, her hobby was horses. The Olympics were coming up, the Summer Olympics, and she could not find where the equestrian events were going to take place and what time they were and where they're going to be broadcast and any of that information. So she called around different organizations, found the schedule, published it on her website. Now, this website is less than 6 months old. However, because she published this schedule, then other people who were searching for it found it because it was the only schedule that was published online. And because of that, people started linking to it, and and it just grew from there. And even though this website was less than a year old, because it had information that people wanted, and that is the key. And she just happened to be the only person that had it. So during the Olympics, she was getting about 100,000 visits a day. And of course, she had AdSense on it. So she was able to monetize that while it happened.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I wanted to combine sort of two comments, and one is just a statement. Whenever you see the word elevate in your content, it's from ChatGPT. And the question from that I want to have is, in your opinion, what makes a piece of content quality?
Just what I said before. Does it answer people's questions? Do you know people want this information? And so that's number one. Number two, are you presenting it with authority, with expertise? What's backing it up? Who's the author? How long have they been writing? What's the website? What's the history of that website, and has it been performing well by answering people's questions? And also, how are you guiding them? Are you knowledgeable about the subject? And not only that, what's the next step? So when I'm writing content and I'm designing a page, I'm also designing with the principle of progression, that if I answer their question, they're either really happy and they leave, or they think of another question because I've got additional questions and additional links to more detailed content, and they'll follow those. Or they find the answer they need and they want to contact and convert. So you think about it from those three options. They're going to leave, they're going to want more, they're ready to contact you. How do you design your content and your page to help people progress to that next level? And that is going to, if you're answering questions, you're providing quality content, and you're building with progression, that I think is what makes good quality.
Thank you for not saying it depends.
It does depend, but
There's actually another question in here. It is, let me just bring it up, but the answer that I would go for is obviously it depends. Maybe you have a couple of examples that you want to specifically bring up. So what is the best recommended word count for one webpage articles with AI and human written content from your years of experience?
As much as it needs to be. It's really where it is. For this one on I was developing this article on digital media literacy. It's a niche subject, and it's rich with content because it's becoming so interesting in education, and also adult, and how people deal with social media. So there's a lot of nuance to it. You could go for a 20,000 word article, and it would still be fresh as you go through it. However, I find a lot of people are trying to hit a word count, and it gets boring. So write as many words as you need to communicate, and communicate in a way that is concise, that's clear, that helps people find the answer that they want. If you're just writing to add words, that's not quality.
Got it. Thank you. There's a very interesting question that touches on social media, and there are different. So let me specifically focus on the question. With the popularity of social media among the younger generation, how can I take advantage of this in terms of showing my content to more people?
Good question. Once you've written that article, what I would do is I would take all those headlines and those questions, and I would make social media posts out of those and direct them back to your article. Because when you've got the keywords of what questions people are asking, that is great content. So you can make a video about it. You can make a post about it. Ideally, you're just sending people right back to the main article with most of the resources. But just the list of headings that you're going to get are fantastic social posts.
I actually was, as we're looking through the questions, I have my own question. So we're talking about AI generated content and talking about this content living in search on web pages. But what about content that you get via email, that you get on social media? What about generating content for that? Because Google is not checking those things, right? It's only about the reaction of people.
Yeah. So most of my business is on LinkedIn. I can spot AI content. I can spot AI comments because they're generic. They all look the same. They all use emojis. And what I've noticed is they never connect. They're always like third level. And so if you're focused on a channel, you're going to identify what's AI very quickly. And here's the thing: it's because they're using it 100%. They're not looking to see what the AI is doing for them. They're not editing anything. They're not following up on anything. So that's one way. Email right now is the number one use of AI because, and this is because everyone expects the email when I get it. When I've done a transaction, there's always coming an email. You just expect it. However, if you can do something different with that email, come up with a new idea, write it in a different tone, and AI can produce that. I mean, right now, there's no excuse for you not to have a welcome series email and use AI to help develop that and create it. Uh, yeah, email is probably one of the best ways to use it because Google's not going to see it. People will. And if you're working with the AI, you're going to make more engaging content.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. And actually looked, and if we don't have any other questions, we can actually sort of draw a sort of conclusion to today's event. I will check back into the chat in a couple of more minutes if there are any additional questions. But in the meantime, I just want to say that the tool that we looked through today, the content editor, is already available in beta, and you can check out the one-click article generation yourself. There are the different ways you can go through it, to customize each step. I'll let you guys explore it. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We have a lot of different educational materials up. Plus, our support team is always on call. Just to make it worth your while, additionally, since you took the time to be here, we are giving you an expanded free trial of SEO Ranking where you can explore all the tools and features that we have to offer and see for yourself what the tool can do for you. We're hoping that you will jump on this opportunity for sure if you're not a client, a user of SEO Ranking yet. And just to make it worth additionally your while, if you are going to sign up for SEO Ranking, be sure to use your business email because it gives you a lot of more perks. And you will let us know, once you let us know who you are, not necessarily like specifically your name, but like what line of work you're in, it will be easier for us to provide you with the right tools and sort of optimize the process even further. So I'm here for inviting everybody to check out the free trial, the expanded free trial that we have on offer, and welcome you to join over 1 million SEO pros who have already tried SEO Ranking throughout the years that we've been active. So join their ranks, check out what we have, and yeah, we're hoping that we'll grow together with you and tackle this SEO. Yeah, and just have higher rank as everybody. And once you have access to SEO Ranking, you have free access to our academy, which includes a couple of courses already, and we're creating additional courses as well. Right now, you can go from SEO zero to SEO sort of hero through our SEO basics course. You can see what it takes to create quality SEO content through Joe Williams's content course. We are going to be updating a couple of our courses as well. Hopefully, Matt will also be in our academy soon. We also have a couple of courses to help you promote your agency if you're working with that. And obviously, of course, we need to have a course to help you learn more about SEO Ranking to sort of hit the ground running with our tools. So we have a couple of courses for that, getting started with SEO Ranking and SEO Ranking for agencies. So you can check out that. And we have more. We have a community. So whenever you have an issue on SEO Ranking, on SEO, just bring it up and we'll get our team of experts, our peers, your peers. So everybody in that community will help, hopefully, not hopefully, but happily contribute to whatever issue you may have or question. So yeah, we exchange different ideas there and also share different swag. So be sure to check that out. And also, I realize that there are a lot of different stuff that I'm saying at the very end, but this one is specifically very important for agencies because it covers two things. It gives you an additional platform to promote your agency, and we talk about the agency pack that is specifically designed to help teams working with clients to provide like reporting, staying in touch, keeping tabs on everything. So the agency pack specifically is designed to help agencies get everything they need to excel in their projects. And the agency catalog is something that we have just to help our users connect with our agency clients. And so be sure to check that out. Create a page. Let users know how you can help them. And it's sort of like our own catalog consisting of vetted agencies that can, and just be sure to check that out. There's just a lot of different agencies and we're populating this catalog. It's growing and it's not only English. it's a global community in there. All right. Also, we have a podcast. This is one of the last slides. We also have a podcast where we meet with agency representatives, SEO experts, and we talk about all sorts of different SEO topics. The last topic we had was about inclusive marketing, so be sure to check that out as well. And it's hosted by yours truly. Yeah, so I'm inviting you, and the final slide is just inviting you to all of our different. We are present everywhere on socials, on YouTube. We have our knowledge base, so just try looking. Try typing in a SEO ranking, and your query will be answered. And also, I want to remind you guys that Matt has also active not only on Site Logic. If you could bring up that slide, Matt, that would be great. Where we talk about the endless coffee cup, Site Logic, and the skills and learning reports. So be sure to check that out. Matt is a very well-versed expert in SEO, and he'll be happy to help you guys in expanding your businesses or whatever regard you have. Yeah, I think at this point I'm just going to thank everybody for tuning in, being here. I want to especially thank you, Matt, for taking the time out of your extremely busy schedule to have this talk with us. I'm always happy to have you join us, and looking forward to seeing you again in the future. And for in the meantime, thank you. And in the meantime, just want to wish everybody great rankings, hoping that Google will not roll out any new update that will just tank our sites. We will have a bit of breathing room just to sort of get our affairs in order and not panic on constant updates. Take care, everybody. Thank you. Over 1 million SEO pros have tried SEO ranking, and here's why.
Very complete SEO software for growing my agency.
Robust SEO features, accurate data, and exceptional customer support.
Advanced SEO marketing tool for the most demanding clients.
Your streamlined SEO experience is our top priority. Find and fix technical issues on your website. Analyze the performance of your competitors in search. Generate SEO optimized content to outrank rivals. Build a solid backlink profile with insights. Check in on your rankings to track progress. You can have all of this and more without breaking the bank. Very likely the best alternative to SEMrush and Ahrefs. So why are you still overpaying for SEO? Join the SEO ranking family today.